Feeling lost in the maze of YouTube drumming patterns? Been there. In the next few minutes, I'll share a revelation that transformed my playing. Hint, it's about doing less, but better. Something I see with lots of drummers, and indeed with my own playing, is doing too many things, like playing too many patterns in order for your playing to be interesting. And I think that's really counterintuitive to music. This year, I want to focus on less things, but nail those things better. So, if you have a decent amount of vocabulary and you feel you can pull a few things off, but it doesn't have that flowy, dynamic mastery sound like the greats seem to have, this video is for you. In this video, I'll break down a really nice lick that only uses 3 patterns that I'm sure you'll be familiar with. We'll focus on getting it to sound great. So we won't just learn a whole bunch of crazy patterns, and instead we'll trade complexity with mastery. Knowing this will help you develop confidence with the drumming vocabulary you already know, getting you to sound more like the pros by using less and more simple stuff. This will protect you from complexity jail and feeling like you just need to continue learning a sea of licks which you won't actually be able to deploy in the moment when you're on the gig. Buckle up. The first pattern we're going to play today is the 6-stroke roll. Easy. What's going to differentiate this from just saying, oh, we're playing the 6-stroke roll, is focusing on the sound it creates, how we play it, by focusing on the dynamic options available within this pattern. The usual pattern for the modern 6-stroke roll is, as we know, right, left, left, right, right, left, where both single strokes are accented, i.e. the first and the last note. We're going to play it exactly verbatim for the first quarter note's length of time. All we're going to do is put the first note on the floor tom and the single left, the last note, on the rack tom. But as promised, we'll be taking simple things here and making them sound like the greats. This is where it gets interesting. One tiny, simple, massively overlooked thing which us drummers and audience members miss is when a pattern we're used to playing with a specific accent pattern loses one of those accents. This is the kind of magic in between the primary notes. The bit where the expert drummer in his solo fills gaps with this beautifully clean roll, but it all happens so quickly that we have no idea what was played. The kind of source that Vinnie Colaiuta and Dave Weckl have, which just makes everything seem to sit together so beautifully. Not that I will or can ever compare myself to them. So, with that in mind, for the second pattern, or beat 2, the second quarter note space of time, we will again play the 6-stroke roll, just this time, we won't accent the final left. I know it seems super simple, but if you've only ever played the 6-stroke roll with an accent on the last note, this can be tricky to get down, but my God, is it worth it. All the notes for this beat 2 will be played on the snare. This will make up the first half of our fill today, but for now, we'll play it twice in a row for the demonstration. So for now, it'll take up beat 1, 2, 3, and 4. This will just be better for practice and help us absorb it into our muscle memory. Another pattern these monster drummers use is right, left, left kick. There are a bunch of available dynamic options with this pattern, and just by going through the videos on my channel, you'll see a bunch of them. For today, let's use the option where only the right hands are accented. So right, left kick. Probably my most used version of this. All lefts will be ghosted as quietly as possible on the snare. This will be pattern 2 for today, but what we'll play for beat 3 of this lick. All the notes will stay on the snare, so nice and easy. Finally, something I've noticed about how Chris Coleman, Louie Palmer, Weckl, etc. play fills is that although there's some super nice dynamic patterns in the beginning or at the start of the fill, they often end the fills with these lovely singles down the toms on beat 4, which just always sounds so good as a climax to the fill and to get us back into the groove or whatever they're going into next. I've only got 2 toms, so I'm going to need to use the snare here. Although this does tempt me into getting a bigger kit one day. Damn, that would be great. Maybe a Tama style maple? So let's play right, left, split as snare, rack, floor, 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 floor. And this will take up all of beat 4 for today's fill. A final note. One of the things that makes this so impactful is accenting these singles. When you see Chris Coleman finish off a fill with these single strokes down the toms, they are louder than the previous ghost notey complex pattern. This is what gives it its impact and makes it a climax to the fill. So don't miss out on that crucial detail. For the demonstration, I'll play beat 1 and 2 as a groove, and then play these two patterns on beat 3 and 4, as it's a hard thing to loop. So all that's left to do now is put these two halves together and we'll have got our super dynamic 16th note triplet lick nailed. I've called this video Flow Unleashed because this is one of those lovely flowy pieces of drumming, but I've managed to narrow it into a 1-bar 16th note triplet fill. Maybe I should have called it Practical Flow. I'll play it for you in a groove at 60 BPM with the notation on the screen, so you can press pause, learn it, and then practice along with me. Then I'll play it for you in a groove at gold tempo, which will be 108 BPM. This is a lovely tempo for this type of fill. Great, and I hope you learned something from this. Remember, it's not what the patterns were that made this fill interesting, it was how we played them. It's better to be a master of a few things than average at a bunch. And finally, remember, friction is a requirement for growth. This is not meant to be easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. To be really, really good, it's going to take work. But that, after all, is what it's all about.